Hello, it's day 2 of 12 Days of Inks 2023. My idea is to share a daily video of my favorite inks of each month of 2023. I'm starting with February. Yesterday was the intro video because in January of 2023 I did a full month of Best of Currently Inked 2022. And because I'm really not feeling that this year, but I still would like to talk about all of this, I decided why not do 12 Days of Inks. So there is an intro video, very short, very brief, yesterday, and then there will be in total 12 videos every day, starting December 25th. Today is December 26th. And we are talking about February of 2023, those inks I inked up. Let me just check that out. On actually January 26, 2023. So I actually filmed that the day that I inked those up. Many of these that you will see here are not the #1 ranking that I gave it at the time when I reviewed it. I just went back through this during December and looked at all the inks that stood out, the inks that I would like to talk about a tiny bit more. This is more ink focused than pen focused, even though the pen and ink combination is what matters to me most. So my idea is to swatch inks that stood out in pens in my new ink journal, and then also ink up a pen with my favorite ink or the most standout ink of the year, of the month, not the year, and then have a writing sample on this page. And I will show that to you tomorrow when I get back and share March. So the inks that stood out were Ferris Wheel Press Stroke of Midnight. This is a is this navy blue? This is not navy blue. This is a dark blue ink with a gold shimmer. My sample from the Ink Flight box did not have a lot of shimmer, but it had enough shimmer to make me realize that maybe a boring seeming ink might become interesting with a tiny bit of shimmer. Winter Spice, Diamine Winter Spice. It's a shimmer and sheening ink that was in the Inkvent calendar of 2021. Stood out to me as well. The reason for that is that I was not very in love with sheening inks. I wasn't a super fan of shimmer inks, but my friend Amy used this and it looked amazing. So I decided I would try this again. And it turned out to be a really, really good ink. I really enjoyed using it. And so this one stood out to me as well. Then this is Wearingeul Yoon Don Yu, A Star-Spattered Hill. This I purchased in December of 2022. And they were on Amazon reduced, and so I purchased 2 ink bottles. I had never used this ink before, and I think this was the most surprising of all of those inks, because it was such a legible, easygoing gold shimmer ink that I just felt absolutely in love with this. And then the last one was Pilot Iroshizuku con Peki, and I actually purchased a bottle of this ink because it just is such a well-behaved ink, and it made me enjoy my Pilot Vanishing Point for the very first time. And I have heard a lot about this ink through the Pencast from the Goulet Pen Company. This is one of the favorite inks of Brian Goulet, and he never ceases to mention it. And I had never been drawn to trying this. And then I received a sample again from Amy, and I used it, and I fell in love because of how just amazingly easy to use it is. So I am going to swatch those inks for you, and then let's see if we can get at least a tiny bit of shimmer in this. And then I will, now what I need is my super awesome swatching tool. So this is a measuring cup, I think. My husband received this in a flight, on a flight somewhere, something. And I found this in the kitchen, and so I thought this would make really small circles. I wish it was see-through because then you could see better. So let me agitate this one more time. And let me just also show you what I'm using to label the inks. I am using my Iro Utsushi pen, dip pen. This is a pilot thing with a medium nib. Pilot thing, okay. So, and I'm using these pipettes. I purchased glass pipettes on Amazon sometime this year, and they're so bad. So I was trying to not use plastic and these one-time use pipettes, but they actually, I have used them since the summer of 2022, and they have been doing really well. So this is, let me just dip this in a little. Wow. And the problem with this paper, which is Cosmo Air Light, is that it is extremely susceptible. What is that? To hand oils. So I always need to make sure, stroke of, that I'm using a paper something to make sure I'm not ruining the paper when I'm using it down here. Then let's go and use Winter Spice. So for the Diamine Inkvent 2023, I found a blog post of someone who reviewed all of those inks. I can link that if you're interested in the description box down below, but I would love to know if there is something like, probably the person probably also did the same thing for other Inkvents. I just need to go and look on their blog. And they reached out to Diamine to ask what shimmer was included in each of those inks, and that is super helpful. I think this might be a purple shimmer. Ooh, that's so much ink. So this is basically a brown base color. It's a really lovely red leaning, I would say, ink. And it is, where do we put that? And then it has that purple shimmer, Diamine. Diamine. And then it's Winter Spice. Winter, just spice. And the sheen seems to be green. We'll see what we can see and find out when it's dry. And I don't know, so when I let me just tell you, because I find this a really amazing thing to do. When I don't rinse my pipettes when I put them in my glass. I just leave them unsqueezed basically, and then I fill them with water when I put them in the glass, but then I don't touch them. So my water is still pretty good. So I can actually rinse my dip pen in the same water glass where I put my pipettes, and then when I go to the sink, I clean them out completely. We have a visitor right here, which is not the best thing, and I just realized I haven't cleaned out or emptied. No, not cleaned out. I haven't closed this one, so maybe I should. Thanks, Kat. I'm very glad you did not kill this whole thing. Let me swatch Peki next. There you can see it already starting. What is this shimmer? This looks like a silver gold shimmer. I don't know. This is also the first time that I'm doing ink swatches on this paper, so I'm really curious to see what that will look like when, this is going to be a big splotch. When I'm turning the page, when the color is dry. Okay. Oh my gosh, look at the vibrant blue. Okay, let's try this without dipping my hand anywhere. Okay, pilot. Peki. I need to lift this now. Nice. Yeah, so I have this book. It's an Odyssey notebook with 300 pages of Cosmo Air Light paper, and I want to use this as my ink journal for 2024. So I decided I would use this as a test, or I would test the paper and the notebook with my Inkvent calendar, and then see if I'm going to continue using it. And I actually really like it. What I like is that I can use both pages, front and back, of this paper. Kat, what are you doing? Okay. He is tangled up in my puffy vest. He loves. Okay, maybe I'm not going to swatch this. There we go. I have found that these Varingol inks are really hard to open. So is this shimmer already settled again? Basically. So this is the ink that I also want to ink up in a pen. And then so I have it squeezed like that, dip it in water, let it go. That means that then this pipette fills with, this is such a, I can't even say what I love so much about this ink. It's legible, it's yellow, it's a saturated, sunshiny yellow. Okay, this is Varingol. So I'm just going to copy what is on the side of the box, which is over here. Yoon Don-yu. A star spattered. Hill. Okay, so then I originally had this ink in my, what was it? Twisty Go Clear with a medium nib. I have since, I I was going to give it away, but I decided to harvest that pen and use the medium nib on one of my TWSBIs that do not have a nib any longer. There's a whole story about that, why they didn't have nibs. If you're interested in watching that, I will link that in the description box below. But I have decided to use the medium nib on this TWSBI Diamond Mini. It's the same nib that is used on this. It's just a different pen body and filling mechanism. And so I hope it's going to be the same experience, but we will see. And then we will figure that out. So I'm dipping this in here and then I'm just squeezing. Can you see that? No, you cannot. Let me just... Okay, that's not a lot. I kind of feel like I need to, as you can see, it's not all the way submerged. And this doesn't sound good. Okay, I think that's enough. So I got some air, but also some ink. A lot of shimmer is in here. And yeah, let's try and see how it writes. Next time I need to put this over here because then I can write here without having to do some kind of dance. I need to post the cap on the TWSBI Mini. All right, so Mini, this is AL Grape, medium nib. So yeah, I want to do some water chromatography thingies with my water brush and just write this page with this ink, and then I'll see you tomorrow when I'm done, and I will introduce all the inks that I liked in March of 2023. So let's see if we can actually get a good look at all of those inks again. What do you think? Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, I hope to see you tomorrow. Until then, bye.